Good morning, students. Today, we are going to study an important topic in C programming called constants and data types. Whenever we write a program, we deal with different kinds of data, such as numbers, characters, words, decimal values, and fixed values. To handle these properly, C language provides constants means the values that do not change, and data types define the type of data stored in variables. This topic is very important because every C program uses constants and data types. By the end of this session, you'll understand what are constants, the different types of constants, and what are escape characters, and how to define constants, data types, and different data types in C, the memory sizes, and their format specifiers. Now, let us first understand the concept of constants. Constant. A constant is a fixed value that do not change during program execution. They are also called literals and represent data that remains constant throughout the program's runtime. Like a constant means it is a fixed value that do not change during the program execution. Once a constant value is assigned, it remains the same throughout the program. Like we can say that constants are also called as literals. For example, if we want to define, like I want some examples are 10, 25, 3.14, like A, hello, all these are constant values. Like why these constants are important. We will see the constants are useful when certain values just must remain unchanged. For example, you know that the pi value is 3.14, which is unchanged. The number of days in a week is equals to 7. Likewise, using constants improves like program readability, accuracy, and maintainability. So the main categories of constants are numeric constants, character constants, and string constants. So numeric constants are values with numbers including integers and floating point numbers, whereas character constants, they are single character constants and string constants which are enclosed in quotes. Now we will see like what is an integer constant and how we are going to define it. An integer constant is a numeric constant without any fractional or exponential part. C programming supports three different types of integer constants based on their bases, different bases. Like one is decimal constant with base 10, the other one is octal constant with base 8 and hexadecimal with base 16. So here you can see the standard things like suppose if you want to define 10, 25, minus 9, all these are integer constants. Suppose if you go with decimal constant, these are standard numbers using digits from 0 to 9. No prefix is required. So here any constant like 0, minus 9, minus 22, 22, 77, all these are integer constants. When it comes to octal constants with base 8, they are defined. Octals are used with digits 0 to 9. They use a prefix. So you can see 0, 21, 0, 32, like 0, 77. The next one is hexadecimal with base 16. They use digits from 0 to 9 and A to F. So they are going to start. You can see here the examples of hexadecimal constants. Now we will see like what are like why these are used in is like memory addressing, and it is a low level programming, and it is used in digital electronics and system software. Now we will see what are floating point constants. So a floating point constant is a numeric constant that has either a fractional form or an exponential form. These constants are essential for representing real numbers in programs. So What is a floating constant? These are the constants that represent real numbers or decimal numbers. So these values contain fractional part or exponential notation. So they are classified into real and scientific. So integers, if you come to this real notation, integers followed by decimal point and fractional part. Digits can be omitted before or after the decimal point. If you see here, some of the few examples are like if you see 15.25, 0.75, 30, minus 9.52. All these are real constants. They're mainly used in measurements, percentages like prices, like mainly scientific calculations. Now, we will see about scientific notation. The scientific notation, it is written like mantissa is followed by e and exponent. Mantissa can be in integer or decimal. Exponent must be an integer. So it is mantissa plus e plus exponent. So you can see the examples. 1.5 e hyphen 2. All these are the examples. If you take 1 point e hyphen 2, it is equal to 1.5 into 10 power minus 2. This format is used for very large numbers or very small numbers. Now, we will see about floating point constants. We have seen about floating point constants. They are classified into real and scientific notation. So with decimal points, and if the number is too large or too small, we go for scientific notation. Now let us study about character-based constants. So here we can the character, a single character enclosed in single quotes, we can say it is a single character constant. So like we can see the examples, the valid examples: a within single quotes, 7 within single quotes, like plus within single quotes. And also, like if it should contain only one character, and each and every character will be having some specific value, and the maximum length is only one character. So there is already predefined value, that is ASCII value. ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Each and every single individual thing contains a value. And you can see it as the size is only restricted to one character. You can see the invalid ones like AB, which is very invalid. Now we will go for string constants. A sequence of characters enclosed in double quotes are called as single string constants. They can include letters, numbers, special characters, and spaces. For example, you can see strings can contain like anything. If you see you, the examples, Rama, A, plus 123, good, or good morning, all these are string constants. Now we will see the difference between the single character constant and a single constant. Single character constant is enclosed within single quotes and it contains only a single character, whereas string constant is a combination of letters, digits, special symbols, or anything, spaces, but it is enclosed in double quotes. Now we will see the next topic, that is escape characters. What are escape characters? So, backslash characters are special sequences used to represent non-printable or special characters in C programming. Backslash n, it is used for new line. So sometimes we need to print some special characters for formatting symbols. Then we use these escape character sequences which begin with backslash. So some of the common examples, like you can see backslash n moves the cursor to the next line. It can, suppose if I'm going to define printf hello within double quotes, hello backslash n world double quotes, then you'll be getting the output as hello in one line and world in another line. So backslash t, you adds horizontal tab space. Backslash r moves cursor to the line beginning. Backslash b deletes previous character. Backslash single quote prints single quote. and backslash double quote, it is going to print double quote. So escape characters are mainly useful in formatting output. Now we will see how to define a constant in C. So constants can be defined in C using two methods. One is using constant keyword. So there are two different methods. One is with constant and the another one which is defined in hash defined preprocessor. So if you use the constant const keyword, it is used to create typed constant. Like I can give this const keyword defines a variable whose value cannot be changed. It creates a typed constant with compiler time type checking. So suppose if I'm going to define const float pi is equals to 3.14, it is good. Here the pi value cannot be changed. Now, what are the means it is going to take the advantage is type checking variable and it is very safe and readable. Suppose if you're going to use hash defined preprocessor, this is called as the hash defined preprocessor compiler directive creates macro substitution. It performs text replacement before compilation and can use any basic data type. Like it is going to used before compilation. Hash define pi 3.14 is given on above the main. So main difference is in the const it is going to create typed constant, whereas hash define it does not, it does text replacement. Now we will see the different data types, like overview of data types. The data types specify the type of data that a variable can store and determine how much memory to allocate. They're essential for declaring variables and functions before use in program. So like a data type tells the compiler what type of data variable stores, how much memory to allocate, and what operations can be performed. Like suppose if I'm going to define int age, float salary. So these are the examples of data types. Like the categories, they have been classified into basic data types or primary data types, derived data types, enumerated, and void point data types. The basic data types, when it comes to basic data types, they are called as primary data types like integer, which is going to have int, char, float, and double. When it comes to derived data type, there are arrays, pointers, structures, and unions. Void. Void is a type which is mainly used in functions. Enumeration. Enumeration means that data type is enum. Now, we will see about the primary data types, the basic data types. Primary data types are the most commonly used data types. So the basic or primary data types from the foundation of C programming, they include characters, integers, floating point types with various size variations. Character types, they are char, signed char, and unsigned char. They're used to store single characters. Suppose, for example, if I want to define char grade is equals to A within single quote, that is a single character constant. Integer types. Integer types, they are used for whole numbers. They are in different type, like used like int. They are defined int, short int, long int. Signed and unsigned. They are classified into signed and unsigned. When it comes to signed, int, short int, long int. Unsigned, int, short int, and long int. Suppose if I'm going to define int age is equals to 25, that is an integer type. Next comes to floating point. So floating types with the used for decimal values. They are float, double, and long double. So float price is equals to 40.75. If I'm going to define, it is a floating point data type. Now we will see the different size and ranges of data type. So When it comes to the size and here the size, like size is with respect to the different sizes. Like if you say the char and signed char, it is going to occupy 1 byte. So the range is minus 128 to 127. Here for this we are going to use the control string as percentile C. So here the memory size of basic data types, like you can may change according to 30-bit to bit or 64-bit. So the following different sizes are of 32-bit. Like if you see that unsigned character is of size 1 byte and the range is from 0 to 255 and the control string is percentile C. When it comes to short int, the size is 1. Okay, for unsigned short it is 1 and it is going to, the range is 0 to 255 and it is defined as percentile D. So here you can see the float occupies 4 bytes, double occupies 8 bytes, and the long double it is going to occupy 10 bytes. And also you can see the control strings and the range over them. So when it comes to this integer types, we have seen the primary types, the character, integer, and floating. And derived data types, like if you see the derived data types, they are classified into primary. We have seen about the, till now we have seen the primary data types. When it comes to derived data types are built using basic data types. Like if you take array, it stores multiple values. Suppose if I want to define marks of 5, then I'm going to give int marks or within subscript, like you're going to give it as 5. Means it is going to store as marks of 0, marks of 1, marks of 2, 3, and 4. So it is used in defining pointers which stores memory address like int star p. Like in derived data types, it is an example for structure, stores group data, union, shares memory between members. When it comes to enumerated and void type, so enumeration is used for to define named integer constants. Like suppose if I want to define enum, it is the keyword is enum. Day, I want to define for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If I give like that, it is going to give in that order. Void type represents no value. It is mainly used in functions. Void display means the function returns nothing. So here, when it comes to the size, different data types occupy different memory sizes. Character is going to occupy 1 byte, int is of 2 or 4 bytes, float 4 bytes, and double 8 bytes. So choosing the proper type saves the memory and improves the efficiency. Suppose, for example, we have defined character age is equals to 20. Instead of long int age, when only small values are needed. So even we have seen the control strings to display the printf and receive data from data using scanf from format specifiers are used. Mainly for character, it is percentile C, int percentile D, float percentile F, and unsigned, it is percentile U, long int percentile D. So today we have discussed about constants. What do you mean by constants? They are fixed values whose value do not change, and the different types of constants like integer, floating point, character, and string. Now we have seen about the different data types used to define storage type like int, char, float, and double. So understanding constants and data types is essential because every C program uses them. So after this session, you can practice writing declarations like defining the data types, the variables, so which will strengthen your basics in C programming. Thank you.